Okay. The last thing. Okay. So some of us in here, actually, yeah, I know Reej, Ollie, Adam's actually going to start closing some deals with Logan Bauer. I saw you got one set up for him, right? Perfect. Anthony Bauer, you're already working in the insurance industry, so you're making money doing that. So we already got people making money. For anybody that's not yet, okay, or you just started making money, here's the second thing that I need you guys to start thinking about. So I had this conversation with Logan Bauer yesterday talking about reaching different income levels, okay? For a lot of people, the biggest barrier for them is that initial deposit, that initial earn, like I made money that they need to get past in order to start their business going. Okay. Too many times I've talked to people and they let their wheels spin for too long without ever making a single dollar, to the point where it doesn't even feel real that it's possible to make money. You got to start thinking about your business in a way where how can I make money as quickly as humanly possible? Okay. Because as soon as you get that first deposit, that first check, number one, your belief is going to go through the roof that you can actually do it. Right. And two, then you're going to be able to set a baseline for yourself in terms of how much money you need to make. Okay. So here's what I mean by this. So when the school community had first started, I'll just give you an example for me, like how I went through this just with the newest business. With the school community, it started out free at first, right? It was a free membership. You can join, boom, build up the community. You're in it. Great. So what do you think it did for our belief factor once we made the community paid and people were still enrolling in the community, right? It was a positive momentum. It's like, all right, at first we weren't making any money on the school community. Boom. Now it's a paid subscription. Great. It's real now. Now you start to see a little bit of money flow. Now you start to get a little bit more momentum, a little bit more belief. Now we can scale off of that. Okay. That's a small example. The reason I say that is because you have to put yourself in the same mind frame for your business. You got to, as quickly as possible, try to make some kind of money. Okay. Don't try to spend money first. Try to make money first. Okay. Figure out how you can make money as quickly as possible. It doesn't matter if it's even $50, right? Like, for example, Arish, if you're doing, because I know you have your marketing company, right? Marketing agency, social media marketing, for sure. When you first started out and first started making money, the most important thing for you was just to close your first client, right? Yeah. What did that do for your belief? What did that do for your momentum for your business?
So for the first client, for me, like it took me maybe 1 year to actually close my first client. Um, I was about in that edge of falling and unbelieving that this can happen. So it was actually life-changing, not just for the money, but for actually seeing that this works. So yeah,
100%. And so you said how close you were to quitting after a year. That's what I'm saying. Like,
yeah.
that's how important it is to get paid as quickly as possible. Okay. Go ahead, Alberto.
I wanted to add in regards to what Arif said. I mean, what matters is that you are consistent. Like it took Arif a full year to close her first client. It took me 3 months of calling until I landed my first real estate deal. And then it's just a proof of concept. Just like you say, that motivation, it's proof of concept. After that, everything changes. And now, oh, I was able to do it. And it's just a matter of doing it, and it just starts piling up.
For sure. Go ahead, Bobby.
Yeah, I want to touch on the thing you said about making money before you spend money. A lot of people have that misconception that I need to invest in my business and I need to put all this money in before I start making money so for my sake, like e-commerce, some of the strategies I talk through is putting out organic content and seeing what people like first before you spend money on ads, before you spend money on all this stuff that you don't need, to run your business. When you have the power of social media, you could throw things on TikTok and Instagram and all this stuff and see what people are engaging with and liking. And once you get a couple sales organically, say you sell a product for $30 2 times, okay, now you have $60 in revenue that you could put towards Facebook ads or TikTok ads. And you can make that $60 stretch out a lot further. And then you might be able to get 10 sales from that $60 in ad revenue and then just keep recycling it. So the misconception that you need to spend money to make money is not always true.
Exactly. So I'll give another example because I see Nathan on the screen, right? Nathan, let's say you're starting out doing photography, right? If you're initially becoming a photographer, something that, a thought process that somebody would go through is say, okay, if I want to do photography and make money doing photography, I'm going to buy a $5,000 camera. I'm going to purchase a studio or try to get studio space. I'm going to get backdrops. I'm going to get lighting. I'm going to get people to go ahead and help me do this, that, and the third, et cetera. You're going to spend all this money. I'm going to pay for a website. I'm going to do this, that, and the third. Spend all this money. So then you feel like you can go ahead and go sell clients, right? When in reality, you should start by doing the opposite. And then you translate this into your own industry. Put yourself in the position where you're good at selling your service in the first place. Sell the service. Now that you have a demand, okay, now let me go ahead and turn around and buy what I need to get. Okay, does that make sense? Like, you want to put yourself in a position to close the business first, become effective at acquiring the business, then we'll work out the logistics, right? And this is something I was gonna call you, Nathan, about, because I know you texted me about it, but I want to call you. Like, so we're gonna go through how to do sales to more clients and close down more clients. That's what's important. That's the revenue generating activity. So you want to focus on the revenue generating activity. What do I do to make money? Focus on that, right? Focus on that, then deliver the product or service. Okay. So Bhuvnesh, for example, right? You're doing outreach for affiliate marketing. Okay. So I want to give you something that can translate into this. Again, your job is sales, selling a product, your affiliate marketing. Okay. So you're selling a product. So when you do that, your methods have to be, you have to do things that are going to make you money before you start spending money on new technology, AI, hiring a team to make phone calls with you, hiring an email software, or excuse me, buying an email software, buying content generating, fucking software, all that kind of shit. No, it should just be, can I just close somebody on this product or service? Do I understand what the mentality of the sale is? Okay, I understand how to sell it. Now I make some money, then I scale out that business. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So, yeah. So it's not about spending the money. It's about generating some kind of income. Okay. So the next point I was going to make about this is, okay, now you can generate an income. You have to take it serious to make that a baseline. Okay. So Mason, I know right now you work, I think you told me, is it in construction?
Yeah, technically it's construction. I work for like a fire protection company. I do like sprinkler work, like fire department connections, some security systems, things like that.
Right. So you're working, right? And you get paid every week or 2 weeks?
Every week.
Every week. So you're working, you're getting paid every single week. How would you feel if all of a sudden 1 week your company just didn't pay you the money that you were expecting?
It'd be an issue.
It'd be an issue. You'd probably be a little bit pissed off, right?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Right. Why? Because your
I'd
expectation,
probably be trying to find another job.
right? And your expectation is that you're going to get paid this amount every Friday, right?
Exactly. Yes.
Okay. So that's good. So you have an expectation. This is the mindset you got to translate into your own business as well. Okay. If you worked a job and your company didn't pay you what they were supposed to pay you every single week, you'd be upset. You'd be like, no, I was expecting this money. This is what I need to pay my bills. This is what I need to put some money aside, invest, etc. You'd be upset, right?
Correct.
People don't have that same mindset for their company, for their business. This is the way that I think about my companies, right? I don't get paid a salary. I don't work, like I don't have a job. I have a business that makes me money, right? So after you start making some money with your company, you have to now establish a baseline and a number that you refuse to go below. Okay. So, for example, if you get used to making $2,000 a week, you now have to establish that as your baseline income for that company so that you don't start going backwards and your business doesn't start dying. Okay. Because if you start making less money in your company, that means your company is dying, right? It means you're slowing down. It means you're going backwards. So you need to establish a baseline now. Now, once you've closed your first deal, of how much money I need to make every single week minimum. I will not go below this income level. So if you typically would work 5 days a week to make your $2,000, this is a business. This is not hours driven. This is results driven. In business, you get paid off of results, not hours. Job, you get paid off of hours. So if you worked your 5 days and you didn't make your 2,000 for the week, guess what? You're working Saturday and Sunday, and you got to go make your 2,000. You got to go close one more client. You got to go sign one more deal. You got to go ahead and do whatever it takes, right? You understand what I'm saying? So you need to start putting yourself in the mind frame that I cannot go below this income level. Otherwise, my business is dying. Okay. This is another mindset shift you have to have. Results driven versus hours driven. Okay. If you're in full commission sales, Anthony Bauer, it's results driven. If you sell $10,000 in premium in one day and take the rest of the 6 days of the week off, or you write $10,000 of business over the course of 7 days, working 8 hours a week or 8 hours a day, you're going to get paid the same exact amount of money, correct? So one scenario, you worked 1 day, the other one, you work 7 days, you get paid the same amount. In business and commission, it is results driven. So you have to play for the result. Don't play for the hours that you worked. Oh, I worked 8 hours today on my company, I'm done. No, did you get the job done? Did you get the result that you were looking for? You didn't? You got to spend more time doing it. So this is, again, another mindset shift you have to have is you got to be results driven. You have to track the result. If you're not still getting the result, you either need to work more. And then once you've maxed out the hours that you're working, then we go ahead and peel the layers back and say, okay, what's the inefficiencies? What are the problems? What are the broken systems? Then we can start to fix things. Okay. If you come and tell me I'm working 12 hours a day and I'm still not getting success, great. Now let's go ahead and take a look at everything, peel the business back and say, what's wrong with your sales process? What's wrong with your marketing? What's wrong with the execution? Are you not getting in front of enough people? Are you just not closing the people that you are getting in front of? Then we can start to dissect the business, right? So I'm just trying to give you guys today a way to start thinking about things so that you can start to get the results that you want, okay? Because a lot of the times it's not like we're in businesses that can't generate income. Every single business that you guys are in or that you guys are starting to get mentored in, people make millions of dollars in. Okay. So if there are people making millions of dollars doing what you do, it's not that the business or the industry, the information is incorrect or that you're doing, or that you can't make money doing what you're doing. It's what you're doing is wrong. So we got to figure out what's the problem. Okay. Then we can diagnose and fix that. Okay. Does that make sense? So we got to have a baseline of income that you guys want to make. Okay. The last point I'll make on that, just to put it into a sales analogy again. So if an agent, right, came to me and they said, they told me, Priamo, let's say Arish came to me, she says, Priamo, I gave, let's say the standard is you give 15 presentations to clients, right? You present to 15 people a week. So you come to me and say, Priamo, hey, I didn't make any sales this week. I didn't make any money. What happened? What am I doing wrong? We got to now be able to go to your data for whatever data you're tracking for your companies, which I hope you're tracking some data, right? So I have data for school for the Tailors code that I track. So we'll talk about that too individually, but you got to have some kind of data that you're tracking. So if you're supposed to give 15 presentations a week, but you made no sales this week, Arish, first thing I'm going to look at is how many presentations did you give? How many people did you sit in front of? So like for a marketing agency that you have, how many clients did you sit down with and present to try to close? If the standard's 15 and you only did 5, I already know what your problem was. It was activity. You just didn't get in front of enough people. There's nothing wrong with your pitch. But Arish, if you got in front of 15 people and I see that, okay, you did 15 presentations this week, but you made no sales. Okay, Arish, there's a problem with the way that you're presenting your service. There's a problem with the way that you're trying to close your business. We need to fix your presentation, not your activity. Okay. So that's a very simple way to contextualize how to fix problems in your company. So if you're tracking the statistics and then we take a look at your numbers, Arish, then we can say, well, here's your problem. Let's fix this, right? It's the same thing I did with Bhuvnesh. Bhuvnesh wasn't getting enough people on the phone for affiliate marketing. What did I say to Bhuvnesh? Bhuvnesh, what did I ask you? What was the first thing I asked you? How much of what are you doing?
Yeah, absolutely. You asked how many hours I'm actually giving to the work. And then I replied like 2 hours, something like that. Then you really taught me that, okay, in job, you are going to give 8 hours a day. But if you are working in a business, you are expected to give more hours a day.
Right.
That's it. That's the fucking rule.
Yeah. And then after you started working more hours, what was the next question I asked you? How much of what are you doing? What was the next piece of data I was asking you for?
How many outreaches I am sending?
How many are you sending? Right. So if you're not getting enough people on the phone or you're not closing enough clients, Adam, for a marketing for a social media marketing or media agency, right? If you're not closing enough clients, the question I'm going to ask is, well, then how many outreaches are you sending? Are you actually maxing them out? So Bhuvnesh said what to me? He goes, well, I'm sending maximum 50 DMs per day on Instagram before they stop me. I said, well, what's stopping you from creating other Instagram accounts? And he's like, oh, shit. I was like, yeah. So then Bhuvnesh made 3 more Instagram accounts. And now he's sending 200 outreaches a fucking day on Instagram. This is how you solve problems. You see? So it's not, oh, I could only send 50 from one account. first thing I thought was, okay, make more accounts then, because then you can just send them from other accounts. So then he just made like 3 other Tailors Code accounts that he sends outreaches on. So how many more outreaches are you getting now as opposed to 50, right? So now you got like 200 through Instagram. Then you set up a couple of emails to send email outreaches. I know you said you're doing, and then 5 a day on Discord, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Exactly. Like I'm not even in Bhuvnesh's business and I know what his numbers are just off the top of my head. Like I know what he's doing. You understand? So like this is how you got to diagnose your problems with data, with numbers. Okay. What's the problem? Okay, here's my problem. Why would I have that problem? Not enough outreaches, not enough DMs, not enough phone calls, not enough presentations. Okay. Then once Bhuvnesh starts getting the maximum amount of outreaches he can do per day, and we're getting everybody on the phone that we possibly can, then we're going to say, then what are we saying on the phones that we can fix? Then we work on what he's saying on the phones. Next thing you know, he's going to be closing fucking 20 people a day because he's maxing out all the statistics and then improving on each one. Does that make sense? I'm trying to make this make sense for like a lot of different businesses because I know a lot of you guys are doing a lot of different things, but understand what the mentality is it's just statistics. You just got to run the numbers and not be emotional about this shit. Right? I just run the numbers. So go ahead, Arish, what's up?
I just have a question about like you speaking about like working 12 hours a day on your business. So for example, if I live alone, and you know, I'm working like a part-time job or a full-time job or whatever, and I'm living alone, so I have to pay my bills, right? And you know, business is a risk. So for starting, you know, you should not take that full risk because you're going to not have a home to live in, right? So how can you actually balance between, for example, having your full-time job, part-time job, whatever, if you're living alone, and your business, so you can give it like the, you know, good amount that you're speaking about of time and effort?
Yeah, super fair question, because that's something I get all the time whenever I was recruiting to build my insurance agency was which I built. So for you guys that don't know, the first business I built, Alberto was in there too. That was like an insurance agency. So I got up to 65 people. We did $2.5 million in business last year. So a lot of business. Well, how did we get to that point? Well, it was recruiting and developing people. So one of the big things that I would run into when I was trying to get people to come into the insurance industry was I would always tell them what I was telling you, Arish. I would say, listen, if you're going to do this, this has to be 100%. You're all in. If you're not 100% all in, I will not promise you any success. I won't. I'm not going to promise you the money that I'm promising you. I'm not going to promise the commissions, etc. Like I'm not, if you're not 100% all in, right? This is what I was talking about with Alberto. Then he finally quit his job. Bang, it worked, right? So my point is like, well, how do you get to that point where you're comfortable? Well, you could be like me and be a little bit stupid, but it worked out, right? I was working as an engineer. So I had a job as a engineer, and I wrote my first 2 deals in 3 days. I made $3,000 in commission, right? So I just needed to see the money. This is what I was talking about. Make money as quickly as possible. As soon as I saw the money on Monday, I walked in and I quit. No 2-week notice, no resignation. I told the story to all these guys before, like, gone. Boom, I'm done. I made the money. It's real now. See ya. I can do it again. If I can do it one time, I can do it again. So you could do it that way. All right. Or if you're not trying to do that risky, what I would say to you is determine how much money you actually need to make to survive genuinely. Like, what is the actual amount of money I have to make to live per month? Get your business to that number as quickly as possible. Quit your job and quit it. Quit your job. That's the honest truth. Because as long as you continue to work a job on top of your business, you're always going to be reliant upon the job for the income that you're not making from the company. Unless you're willing to quit the job and work on what you have going on, you're never going to put your back up against the wall hard enough to force yourself to generate the results that you're looking for. And that's a lot of the time the problem that people have. Is not that they couldn't do it, is they don't have enough pressure on their back to actually perform. Men are like that naturally. Men will do only what they have to do when they have to do it. But when they have to do it, they'll do anything, right? That's just how men are. They're going to wait to that moment where they literally have to do it. So that's why it's so important, especially for guys. I believe that you got to be fully reliant upon yourself before you actually do what you're capable of. right? If you're still taking money from parents, if you're still taking money from friends, if you're still working a job, these other avenues that are going to allow you to live, even if you don't succeed in what you're doing, then you're never going to succeed. Like I had to put myself in the position personally in a situation where I had no more job, got out of college, completely fucked everything that I had going for me and said all in on insurance. And then what did I do? Well, I did super, super well in insurance, right? So how to balance? So, okay. So the point was, so how do you balance it? So I would say, well, just be honest with yourself. As soon as you're done with your day job or whatever it is you're doing part-time, how many hours are then you spending outside of that part-time job working on your business? So if you're not working the weekends, you need to start working the weekends. If you're not working every evening after work, then you know start to work every evening after work and just get to the point where you're generating income and then quit your job. You have to quit your job. You just got to, because that's just a belief factor. Because if you're not willing to quit your job once you start making money, then that's just saying you don't believe in yourself. Whether you want to tell that to yourself or not, that's psychologically what you're telling yourself. I don't believe in myself. If I quit my job, I might not be able to pay my bills. That's a disbelief. I quit my job because I said, well, Priamo's a fucking savage. If I quit my job, I'm going to be able to still make money. And I did, right? Like, because I believe that for sure. Anthony Bauer just saw me just last week, just fucking turn on the Jets a little bit, made 10 grand, 2 days. It's like, I can go do that whenever I want to now. Cause that's like, yeah, I want to go do that. Boom, let's go do it real quick. Right. On top of Tailors code, on top of the other business that I have, on top of insurance. Like this shit's just now become a game to me, but that's 3 years of doing it. But you got to put yourself in the space where you have to obviously, depend on yourself. Right.
Yeah. Makes sense. Thank you.
For sure. Cool. Any other questions? That was a good question. Good. All right. That's essentially all I had for you guys. I just want to give you a pretty overall thing right there, and then come to me individually, obviously, for anything that you guys want personal to your business. We'll work on it. Stay with Alberto, the guys that are working with Alberto, same thing with Bobby. We got the shit cracking. Team's growing. We're getting more people on these meetings, which is fantastic. So I love to see that. Yeah. Other than that, dude, I'm fucking excited. I'm excited as hell. Love to see new faces. Love to see Ariz moving to the US. Anthony Bauer, I know, is going to start popping off. Anthony Bauer, stay close with Logan. Get with him to get the sales juice. Yeah, outside of that, if you guys are good to go, I'm cool. Good meeting. Hopefully you guys got some value out of that. And then reach out to us individually if you need anything else, okay? Cool. All right, ladies and gentlemen. Peace.